What's good, G's? I want to talk about bullies and gangsters real quick. So I've dealt with bullies pretty much my entire life. I remember back in middle school and high school, more in middle school, getting teased for being quote unquote smart and trying to study and all of that stuff. And I had a couple run-ins with bullies, and most of the time they get off of you when you fight back. And even though you're quiet and you're nice and all of that, eventually you get enough. The gangsters that we see nowadays are, I think, really bullies and cowards, and a lot of fake gangsters. The real gangsters are the ones that stand up against evil. Because even the quote unquote gangsters are going to pray to someone that was a real gangster like Jesus, a spiritual gangster that stood up against evil in his time, stood up against the church, and he stood up against the state. And the state was occupying his land, and the church was subjugating his people. Isn't that not what's going on now? Aren't our people colonized on multiple levels? We can just talk about America for one, but this planet has been colonized as well, because this situation that we're in is not natural. And that same church that sentenced Jesus to death is the same church that's in power now, and co-opted by the same state that was in power back then. So real gangsters stand up to evil, no matter how powerful they seem to be. And I've emulated my life after that, because we need real gangsters in this reality. Because a lot of people are waiting on saviors, but how many people are gangster enough to become their own savior? And how many of those are gangster enough to speak out in public and do the things that Jesus did in the open? So these next few years, I'm going to see how gangster I am, quote unquote. But I'm not out here picking fights. I'm just showing the truth, showing my ideas on the highest level that I can, and seeing the resistance to it and showing you the resistance to it. Because the truth fears no questioning, the lies do. So we're going to put it out in the light. Just like Buddha said, three things cannot long be hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth. And this is the time of revelation or revealing or apocalypse or uncovering. So it's not the end of the world, it's the end of a world, the beginning of a new one. So you're going to have to make a choice which one you want to reside and live in. Some people will want to live under the one that's the current one, because they don't want change, and they want someone else to make decisions for them, even if that someone else is making decisions that benefit them and not benefit themselves and not you, right? Just look at the situation. Rich get richer and the poor get poorer. There is no trickle down. So that's the current situation, but it's comfortable. You know what it is, you know how to navigate it. The uncomfortable one is the one that involves change and involves you changing, and that's the one we're creating.